Hello and welcome to Kemet Capital, a community of holders and seekers of African capital. I'm your host, JS, and you guys already know before we start, as always, we begin with our word of affirmation. Our guiding principle is the Cobb and Douglas function, guys. On our way to make Africa great again, through economic power, economic strength, and in order for us to achieve that, we need to produce more in a more efficient way. So today we're going to react to this interview from Chowdeck, uh, delivery company in Nigeria, who is a national player who's trying to be a regional powerhouse. So let's jump in and discuss and react to the video as we go along.
From Chowdeck plans to expand into more cities across Nigeria and Ghana and launch a quick commerce strategy after securing $9 million in Series A funding. Femi Aluko, the CEO and founder of Chowdeck, says that the funding will supercharge the company's growth plans. He joins me now for this conversation. Thank you so much for your time today, Femi, and congratulations on the raise, $9 million.
Guys, congratulations to Femi. So Chowdeck is a Nigerian on-demand delivery platform that with food, groceries, and medicines um, delivery. It's via a vertically integrated logistic and technology stack. The company was founded in October 2021 by Femi here on the screen, Olomide Ojo, and Lanre Yusuf. The startups launched in Lagos and quickly expanded throughout Nigeria. The founders, they are ex-engineering leads from Paystack, who was acquired in 2020 for 200 million. That's one of the largest exit for venture capital in Africa. Guys, 200 million US dollars. That's a huge exit for an African startup. So kudos to Paystack. So those guys were engineers there. And after acquiring the skills, they were able to leverage it and build their own company. That's why, guys, we need to have more skills. We need to import the skills, and as long as we have the skills, we can always innovate based on our the reality of our continent, and based also on our own intelligence. The way we see the world is different from Western thinkers or Western engineers. So having those guys, being on the continent and developing technology to serve needs that are not, adequately managed on the continent, it's huge. It's the goal. That's what we strive for. So the company was able to raise some capital, seed financing, Series A. That's where they are now when they raised 9 million. All right, let's see. Let's continue and discuss.
Here. And what would you say was the key factor that convinced investors to back your growth plans?
Multiple things, to be honest. I think we were growing really fast, growing really, really fast. I think we started in January of 2022 fully. The first year, like we joined Y Combinator, a platform an investment platform that backs companies in Africa. And then year on year, we've been growing very, very crazy. We launched in Ghana also recently. That was in the month of, I think, in March. Ghana recently hit 1,000 deliveries, which is super fast growth. Nigeria, it took us 10 months to hit that milestone. In Ghana, it took us 3 months to hit that milestone. So I think it's just super, super fast growth. We also have like a couple of like very interesting restaurants. Like in the last 3 years, for example, we've grown from delivering 400, 300 meals in our first year to delivering like almost over 30,000 meals daily today. Yeah. So it's just, I guess, super fast growth. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm trying to imagine how this will then impact the speed that you're talking about, and are there certain milestones that you have set to try to achieve in this period?
Yeah, multiple things. Of course, continue to expand within Lagos, Nigeria, Ghana. Also, we just recently launched our quick commerce strategy. That's like launch.
So, guys, I'm just going to stop here. We have to understand that venture capital, the funding comes in stages. So that's called love money. So you get money from your parents, from your friends when you're still at the ideation phase. So you're still developing the idea of your product, what the product will look like, and then you have the seed stage. So this is very early stage. The prototype is in place. So you have used for product development and initial marketing testing. So right now, the stage that they are, it's called the startup stage. And in startup stage, you have Series A and Series B, right? So Series A is for early stage startup funding. Is to scale the product and make a market presence. The company usually has a proven concept and some revenues and early traction on the product. So the investors here will be primarily venture capital firms or funds, and the use of funds will be to expand the team, to optimize the business model, to acquire more customers. And the typical amount of funding for Series A is around 2 to 15 million. Can be higher depending on the region and sector, but usually it's between 2 to 15. These guys were able to get 9, so it's actually, a great subscription. So the Series B, on the other hand, it's for growth stage. After a successful Series A, and the purpose here is to scale aggressively and expand into new markets. I think that will be the next stage for them. They raised already Series A. Now it has to be going into Series B, since the Femi here is talking about expanding to Ghana. So the company here has a proven product market and seeks to capture larger market share. The use of funds here will be to enter new geographic markets, as we explained, to ramp up marketing and operations, and to invest in infrastructure and technology. And the funding here at the Series B is around 10 to 15 million, 10 to 50 million, 50. So that'll be the next stage for Chowdeck, and hopefully they get there. And to get there, you need to hit some performance indicator, like we discussed last week, KPI. So this guy is talking about what they've achieved, the number of subscribers, the number of delivery that they do per month. Maybe that was one of the performance indicators. The number of restaurant, grocery chains that they do business with. So always interesting to see how those startups are being financed in Africa, and I'm glad that the private equity sector is actually um, very active on the continent with those startup in fintech.
Dark stores to deliver groceries very, 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 very quickly. We hope to get to like 40 dark stores before the end of the year and get to 500 dark stores before the end of next year. So that's just supposed to help us deliver groceries and supermarket items really, really fast here.
For the benefit of our viewers, explain what the dark stores mean and how that fits into your strategy.
Yeah, in one sentence, dark store is just an online supermarket or shop. What that means is that like think of like these supermarkets like around our areas, or even local shops around our vicinities. Think about like what that would look like if you're able to just order from those shops and get it delivered to you in like 20 minutes. And that's what the entire quick commerce strategy is supposed to help us achieve.
Because I'm looking at your numbers here, 1.5 million customers in about 4 years.
That's correct.
I'm curious to know
Wow.
what you think is driving this adoption.
Guys, 1.5 customers in 1 year. That's unprecedented. That's huge, guys. That's a fantastic number. That means they're growing, and
Speed.
Yeah, I think multiple things, but I think I think the most important one would be like the post-COVID. After the pandemic hit, we saw a lot of users, a lot of customers move online, and behavior just changed. We also have an entire generation of people that are getting exposed to like online food delivery for the first time. We provide them with like very, very great experience, and we see like a lot of like word of mouth referrals. People are referring their friends, like, and I guess the world has also changed too. Like from an online point of view, we see a lot of people now on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter, and this, I guess, online community is helping drive and fuel our growth in Nigeria. And that's why like over the last 2 years, we've seen like tremendous increase in how people order food just via social media.
Yeah, because I'm looking at a company like yours and the model that you're putting together here, and I'm thinking payments is going to be a major part of that.
That's correct.
And I see that you are taking ownership in that area with some partnerships or acquisitions here. Talk us through what's happening there with the acquisition of Mira and how that will also benefit your other vendor partners.
Yeah, so Mira acquisition was done largely because we were growing really fast. And we're beginning to have a lot of like operational issues, operational excellence. The Mira team had done a very good job at building a very great product that helped with like solving inventory management and other management products issues with restaurants and businesses. So when we started experiencing a lot of those issues, and just contextually, when we started, we used to do like maybe like 400 deliveries in a day. At some point, that became like like 400 deliveries in like 15 minutes. So the technology that was
Mm.
powering that at the time like was needed to scale a lot faster than we were moving. Mira helped us like supercharge that growth, and now we are able to provide our restaurants and supermarkets with a lot of these other products that we previously did not have. Things like maximum like inventory management, things like order management, analytics, things that like we would have taken us like multiple months to build previously. Mira is helping us supercharge a lot of that growth.
That's beautiful. That's brilliant, guys. And I don't know if I've said that before, guys. Power is organized effort. So those guys showed that the company lacked certain capability. Now they went out in the market and tried to integrate vertically the operation, their operation by acquiring Mira. The guy is saying that now before they were doing 400 deliveries a day. Now, how do you scale when you're now doing 400 delivery per hour or in 15 minutes? I don't remember exactly what he said, but the change in number was huge. 400 a day to 400, even if it's an hour, that's a big increase in your operation capabilities and needs. So by acquiring an enterprise that's vertically integrated to your model, it brings economies of sales and greater return. If the pie is bigger, each slice will also be bigger. That's the whole point, guys. We need to be organized effort, that's power. So we need to organize our effort. Our energy has to be organized for us to deliver the power that ultimately is the cue on our function, the output. Guys, we need to be organized. We need to be able to cooperate. Because as I said, if the pie is bigger, every individual slice will also be bigger. So that has to be, the mindset of all entrepreneurs on the continent. And regardless of your sector of activity, whether it's fintech, agriculture, mining, you name it, we need to find ways to cooperate and to collaborate with other players in our industry, in our supply chain, in our the integrated market. That's the goal.
Yeah,
Yeah, because a lot of the work that you do, yes, the payment side
that's
being
correct.
handled, but then there's also the issues around logistics. You're talking about quick commerce here. It means that your logistics must be super tight.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to imagine how that how you're putting that together, especially in cities like Lagos and Ghana and Accra. What's the edge here in terms of how you're navigating that challenge?
I think it's technology. I think the short answer is technology. And technology has helped us like supercharge our growth. What technology has also done for us, like, we have like a lot of like geotagging. Like our locations are like very hyper local, very like we don't. We designed our systems to be able to deliver really really fast. So at some point we had issues with, for example, with Google Maps, like because again some like in hyper-local areas or really local areas, the map is probably not as efficient as it should be. So we had to
Yeah.
like build our own custom version of maps that helped us like deliver meals very very quickly.
You heard that, guys? They build their own maps to scale and to improve their service. This is huge, guys. Google Map, they build their own because Google Map will not know, the intricacy of each neighborhood. They build their own, and that also improve, the delivery route that their driver takes and improve efficiency. So if you know exactly what the neighborhood look like, using like your own mapping system, knowing your locality, this is their neighborhood, this is their city, so they know, the shortcuts that you can take to get to point A to point B, and they were able to implement that into their system. So technology is a huge driver, guys, and those guys, they build the model there by themselves, which is huge. So not only they have the skills, but they can also scale those skills to create a company like Chowdeck. And hopefully Chowdeck becomes a regional powerhouse, and be able to compete against like the Ubers and the Lyft of the world.
The routing algorithms, these things just help our delivery like happen really really fast. So I think it's technology, honestly. Yeah.
All right, so we've talked about the issue on payment, we've talked about logistics, and about then the core of every business now is people.
Yeah.
And I can imagine how challenging to be keeping top talent at times like this. Speak to what you're doing in that area and how you're keeping some of your best with your hands.
Yeah, I think because again I think the mission is very 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 large, very very big. The team at Chowdeck, we've done multiple things. Again, it's not the easiest thing to keep talents because we like to build a platform as big or significant as Chowdeck. You need the best people on the continent. But thankfully, we've been able to gather the best minds from different industries across Nigeria and Africa. And now that I guess it's just I guess it's bigger than all of us. Like it's bigger than all of us. It started as something very small, very little. When everyone joins, like there's always a story. Somebody joined when we were doing 40 deliveries. Now it's 1,000, it's 10,000, and it keeps going up. And that is a very powerful mission. A very very like again, it's a lot bigger than all of us. And I think that like
The guy, you can hear the passion in his voice, guys. You can hear it. You can hear the fact that he is trying to solve, for his community, and he's passionate about it. He wants to see the results. He wants to see the growth because he know it will help other people in his community. Not only helping himself and his company Chowdeck, it will help the nation. It will increase productivity. It will increase efficiency. It will make life easier for households. Now they can focus their energy and time to more productive activities instead of going to the shop. I'm not advocating, for delivery, grocery delivery in general, but this is an improvement to society. And this is what it's all about. We need to be more efficient in everything that we do, guys. Even if it's just going to the grocery store, because that time you can apply it to go to, to study, to give more time to a business that you're building or a company that you're working for. So all in all, the Nigerian economy, it's profiting from this company, and we cannot dismiss the technology side of it. They build their own map, guy. That's huge. They don't need to rely on Google Maps. They build their own, targeted for their market, for trying to solve their solutions, not a solution that imported by someone who doesn't know the context, who doesn't know the habits of the people of that nation, who doesn't know the culture of those people. Because it's not a company like I don't know, Uber Eats cannot understand exactly how Nigerians do their shopping. But Chowdeck, those are Nigerian guys. They live in the community. They know the community, so it's easier for them to design a product that will help such community.
because a lot of people realize that like this is probably once in a lifetime for a lot of us. Like we are building something that like would transcend multiple generations, and it just helps
Exactly.
like in how we even think about our products like in the long term. Yeah. So I think talent, yes, we have Nigeria would always have like would always have like talent problem from time to time, but I think that like because again we don't see ourselves as a Nigerian company.
Okay.
Like
Mm.
we are a global company just building out of
Yes.
Nigeria. Yeah.
Please, now
Amen.
the other issue
Amen.
is now you're managing your vendors and then ensuring that those partnerships are there. And I'd like to know how you're doing that. And then also, there's huge competition in the delivery space. Yeah, there's quite a lot of other names there. How you working to stay ahead.
Yeah. So yes, there's
And guys, we shouldn't be afraid of competition. Iron sharpens iron. So you need competition to improve, because if you're only the only player on the market for the customer, I only have to rely on your service. But if there's two of you guys, I can compare, and it also forces you to improve your services. And overall, the society is gaining because of the improvement, increased efficiency, increased profitability, innovation, and so forth. Those are all economic development metrics.
huge competition, but when we think about it, we don't really think of it as competition. We think that like it's a very very early space. We think that like a lot of people are still coming up. We actually think a lot more people should come up and try to solve, to join us in
Mm.
trying to solve this problem, because it's a very big space. It's a very big industry. In India, for example, India has two top food delivery companies delivering like valued at over $10 billion. Same thing in the US, same thing in Brazil, same thing in China. Like in Nigeria, we don't even have like any major one like on operating at that scale. And these companies do millions of deliveries daily. Today, no food delivery company in Nigeria or even Africa is doing up to 200,000 deliveries daily. When Chowdeck started, for example, the top players at the time, or the the top industry players at the time used to do like around 19,000, 20,000 food deliveries daily. Chowdeck is 3, 4 years old. We've surpassed that number, but like we know that like we are still far from our counterparts in other parts of the continent. So competition is it helps us do better, it helps us move faster, it helps us like I
Hmm.
guess grow a lot faster. So we don't really think about we think when we hear that a new player is coming up, like we get excited because again it's an opportunity for us to move a lot faster than we currently do.
All
Exactly.
right, then I wish you all the best. Then 9 million.
Competition should be
Wish you all the best, and definitely see you when the company continues to grow. Femi Aluko, there, the CEO and co-founder of Chowdeck.
all right, guys. As I was saying, competition should be welcome. And great conversation again with Femi. I'm to see those African innovators, holders and seekers of African capital doing their thing, going from national player to regional powerhouse, and with the intention to expand globally. These guys they don't need to go global. Just be the continent biggest food delivery company, and you guys will be billionaires, and you'll build a lot of millionaires. So I'm all for it, Chowdeck. Wish you all the best, and you guys stay blessed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.